Hey there everyone. Today I'm going to be giving you a tutorial on how to edit and reference STL files when that's all you're left with to do your design work, or when you download an STL off the internet or something like that and you want to use it in your own designs. I'll show you how to work with that. And in doing that, I'll also work towards designing some print-in-place hinges. So they're 3D prints that all print as one thing, but when they're done, they act as like a self-contained hinge. They're quite handy. A bit harder to design, but easier to print. So we'll go through that. And yeah, without further ado, we'll go to our modeling environment. So here we are. First thing I'm going to do is I need to get in a STL file, otherwise known as a mesh. And we're going to be going across to this tab across the top here, the mesh tab, which has different tools, but then we'll be using it in combination with the solid tab. So first thing I'm going to do is insert a mesh, and I'm going to take it from my computer. I think it's just on the desktop. So it's just a simple oval bangle design. And in general, you want to get this centered around the origin. So I think this is already centered, but it just reorients it into that kind of homed dimension. And once you're done with that, you can just hit OK. So you can see the STL file broken down into little triangles, and this is what I'm going to be working with. So the overall idea of this design is we're going to cut about a 5mm strip out of the middle, and then we're going to reference those particular shapes that are left over, and then use that to model our print-in-place hinge, and then we'll have a go at doing a clasp down the bottom. So I'll get into doing that. Yeah. So first thing I want to do is select a reference plane, and if I'm cutting out a 5mm strip, I want it 5mm spaced around the middle here. So I've got to use, divide 5 by 2. So I need a 2.5mm offset plane on either side. So I'll select the plane I want to use to cut, and I'll offset that by 2.5. Then I'll do another one over here, offset plane. This will be a negative 2.5 in the negative direction, and fantastic. So at this point, I am going to go over to my mesh tab, and I'm going to go to plane cut. Okay, so I've got two planes. I'm going to cut this STL file with these planes. So going from the top, I'm going to select the body I want to cut. I'm going to select the cut plane that I want to use to cut with. Then under here, I want this to be a split body. And under fill, I'll just go minimal. Just means put in a few triangles as possible. And I'll go OK on that. So what we have here now is where there was one mesh body, we've now got two. Okay. So you can see that all tidied up there at the end as well. So I'll do that, and I'm going to do that a second time for the second plane that I've done. So same process, select the body that I want to cut, select the plane that I want to use to cut with. It should remember all your settings from the previous cut, and you just go OK. So now I've got three bodies, top and bottom there, and then these two. So what I'm going to do here is just turn off the view of this, and I'm going to use the same planes to generate vectors from these things that I've cut out, right? So to do that, use this function here. First time I worked it out, it was a little bit weird, but it makes sense to me now. So I'll show you how it works. So we're going to go here, bring up this menu. We're going to go to the body that we want to select, and the section plane, similar to how we use a cut. And we're going to go to here. So just noticing that I've got geometry at the top and not at the bottom. So that might just be a case of moving this in. So if I just move this across, what's my x distance? So it's on the x plane. If I just type in 0.1, like a tiny, tiny little bit, it will, reference that properly for me. STLs can be funny things. So I've got that side, and I'll do that a second time on the other side as well. So because I've got a two-sided design, so I'm going to select this body, select this section plane, okay, and I'll go move it here, this time negative negative 0.1. Okay on that. So I've got what you want to see is the brown lines here of projected onto the STL that you want. Okay. So now what you'll notice is every time that you do one of those create mesh section sketch, it actually creates a sketch down in the sketch menu button. So there's the first one, and there's the second one there. So from here, I'm pretty confident I can just use the solid modeling tool, but if I need to go back, I will. So what I'll do is, what you need to do is go right click and go edit sketch. So in the sketch menu, there's a new option that you wouldn't have seen in other regular sketches, fit curves to mesh section. So you want to click on that menu and you want to actually select the things that you want to copy. Now you've got to be careful with this because if you've got a mixture of straight lines and splines, it'll do stuff like this, right? It'll create a section, like something you can actually model with out of that. We don't want that, right? So we can do, we can go back and cancel that. You want to be kind of, it's a funny tool, like it took me a little bit of time to work it out. So what we've got here is essentially straight lines, curvature, but this part under here, I've got to be careful with. So I'll see if I can just select start and the end of a curve. Go the long way, see if that works. Right, so not working for me straight away. So if it doesn't work a third time, I'll just pause it, work it out, and then get back to you when I do. So I want to hit long way, go that way to that way. Good, so that's got the first section that I want. Now the rest of it is a straight line, right? So I want to go here and making sure that I'm clicking on the points that I want to keep. If it doesn't do what you want it to do, you just have to go back and work it out. Because I'm still new to this tool, I'm still kind of working out some of the intricacies of it. I think when it worked for me before, I had to go OK on the parts that did work well. So I'll do that again. Okay, and I'll go OK on that. So you'll notice that blue line's in. Then I'll go back to that same tool again. I've also got it up here. So this time I'll go just a single line. Okay, I'll go OK on that and see what's come up. So the test for this is if I have a shaded area, which I do, then I'm good. Okay, so that's what I've got there. I'm also going to do the same on the other side. Actually, no, I don't really need to because I'm pretty sure they're identical. So I'll finish that sketch and I'll go here. So now what I want to do is get rid of the bodies that I don't need, get rid of the sketches I don't want to see, and start modeling from this point. So what I want to do is just make a little section. I want to make a little cover that goes on the end of this part of the bangle, yeah? So I want to build a little bit of space in it. It's going to fit over the end here by just like a millimeter or something, and it'll glue, give us a little bit of surface area, and that'll be one side of our print in place hinge. So I might pause it for a bit and then do that modeling and then bring it back. So just through tackling this problem for a little bit, what I need to do, because this is a slightly rounded body, I want to make a little bit of a revolve. So I'll get this outside part of the sketch here and just revolve it a little bit to like here so it fits on and kind of goes with that round. I'll see how it looks. If it doesn't work, I'll change it, but that's just one thing I'm going to experiment with here. And also to make this sketch, what I've done is when you go in and edit it, I've used the offset tool, which is here, and I've just gone to that original. So the first offset, so I've clicked on this and dragged it out. So the first one's 1.5 and the second one's 0.15. So I'll extrude out this section or revolve out that section just so there's a little bit of slack built into that design. And because I have a little reference of a point here, so if I go along this area, I actually have a little reference under this plane here. There's a little point there. So what I'm going to do is put an axis through that and then use that as my point to revolve around. We'll just see how that goes. But to do that, to make an axis, I actually need two construction planes. So I've got 1, 2 here, I think, but my axis actually has to go the other way. So I'll get back to you when that's done. So to do that, I'm going to add another plane here. So that's at 10 mils off this reference plane. The point I want to reference is just there. So I'm going to go sketch onto here, and then under create, I'm just going to go to point and find where that point is. There it is. If you can't find it, you can just go along this line and see if it highlights for you. So that's it. Looks like that's it there. So that's the point I'm going to be referencing. So if I go here, create point, and just hope that, or I can even project it if I wanted to. So go here and just feel along that line until I've got it. All right, if I can't find it, I'll use the project button, so shortcut P, and just go along that line, and you'll see that'll project that point there for me. Then after I've done that, I'll go finish sketch and construct axis through 2 points, this point, and then I've got my axis. So now I can turn everything, or turn some of the things back on. And now I can select this area and go revolve and select this axis as the thing that I want to revolve around. But I don't need that full revolve. So what I'm going to do is a partial revolve, and I'll just try with like 2 degrees. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at, or maybe like 5, and see if that goes. So I just want to do a visual check to make sure it actually fits. Looks like it fits on the top, looks like it fits on the bottom, and that's a nice little kind of revolved thing. I need to be careful because this is a bangle about how much I actually go in here. So I might need to adjust the bottom edge of that design so it doesn't cut in as much. I can try a little bit more and just see how that looks. 10 degrees. 10 degrees is actually looking a bit better for me, in my opinion. So I can see that it's cutting a little bit into the bottom. So I might want to go in and change that offset. So if I go OK here, and then just edit that offset a little bit, I'd go to this sketch, or just find the sketch that I need to change. The other thing I could do is, because I made an axis around this point, I could just go back and change that revolve. So I'm going to edit here, and the axis, I'll just delete that and reorient it to this axis and see how that fits. It might be a better angle for us. Can't really notice too much difference. But look, that should be okay. So that's the first part of our bangle. Then what we're going to do here is we're going to go back to some of our previous sketches. This one I think it is, so sketch 1. And we're going to just extrude all of this out. So we'll go extrude, select this and that, and then we will just pull this out, making sure that I'm also getting this little sliver section in here. That's coming out 2 mils, that's fine. All right, we can get that in line with our other body, so we have that there. It might be that I need to like separate these or something like that. I'll move this across a little bit more, but for now I'll keep that body one invisible, and I'll just design this first bit. So what I'm going to do now is design the print-in-place hinge, or one part of it. So you can see what that's like. And pretty much what it looks like from the side here is like a little semicircle, or a little bit of an elongated semicircle, so another millimeter of straight line, then a semicircle on top of that. It just comes out that way, and it'll come out in the middle, right? And then out of that, I'll design two little posts that can kind of pop out. So let's do that. So over here, I want to on body 1, I will add a sketch onto this mid plane here, this vertical plane. I'll go create sketch. And then what I'm going to do here is reference this. Okay, so I'm going to go, I've hit shortcut P for project, and I've projected this line, and I'll use those as parts of the thing that I want to build. So I'll do a straight line out for 1 millimeter. And again here, 1 millimeter. And then I'll put an arc. I'll go create arc. I could do a circle as well, just because I want this to be circular. And I'd do a 2-point circle. I'll just see how I go with 3-point arcs. I'll go 1, 2, and see if there's a reference for me to get this circular. Not really. Ooh, so I'll get rid of that. I'll just put in a 2-point circle. So I'll go here, circle, 2-point circle, top to bottom, and I'll just trim out this part here and make sure I get the other bits here that I don't want. There's probably another kind of arc that I could use that would be way simpler, but so finish sketch. I'm going to go here, and what I want to do is extrude this out by, I don't know, I don't even know how big this is. So yeah, we'll just go extrude, and we'll just eyeball it. So we'll go symmetric, and we'll do total distance. See what 5 mils looks like. That's pretty good. Okay. Just noticing that this arc probably needs to come out a little bit more, so I might go and edit this sketch and make this maybe 2 mils. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to design in the inner parts of my print-in-place hinge. So I'm going to go here and sketch. Up to this area, and really it's just a circle. I've just got to make sure it's kind of centered, and the only thing I have as a reference here is this arc, but I don't want to put it too close to this edge. So if I can go here and reference it, and then maybe put it out this way, and then I'll dimension it. So see if I can go 4 mils. Yep, good. You want it to be fair. You want this inner part to be fairly substantial, because that'll be the main kind of load-bearing part of the hinge. Yep, so I'll do that, and then I'll dimension it to this. No, I don't want to dimension it that way. Back into sketch mode, and hit D for dimension. Also, that's 1 millimeter and a bit, so I'll just make it 1 mil. 1.2. 1.25 mils seems like cool. We'll leave that there. Alright, so we'll go finish sketch. Then we're going to extrude this post out. So we're going to go here, extrude that out, and we're going to go a little bit into this area. So 5 mil, too much, maybe 4. Yep, that should be good. We'll go OK, and then with this process, I could sketch another thing in the same spot here, but I also have these mid planes as reference, so I'm just going to mirror this feature on the other side. So features, that's the feature I want to mirror. The mirror plane is here, and I'll make that identical. Yeah, so that's the main part of my print-in-place hinge there that makes it functional. And just for some added strength, I'm going to add in a chamfer, just a small one, like 0.5 mil. And add that on the other side too. Awesome. And I can also add these to the end here as well. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. I might make this a 0.3 chamfer, maybe 0.4, just because I'm just a bit worried about this space here. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I could pull this out even more, so I could go back to that original sketch, edit sketch, and change that to 3, and just see how that looks. Oops. And this time I'll just reference that, so they both change. So finish sketch, cool, then I could change this sketch. Move it a millimeter back, no, maybe half a millimeter back the other way. That's good. Cool, so now I've got enough volume there. All right, so what do I do now? So what I actually need to do is go back in time a little bit, and I'm going to copy out a little bit of this section here. So I'm going to grab all of this body, but I don't need these pins, so I'll go back here in time before I have all of this set up. So here, yeah, that's what I want. So what I'm going to do here is copy this body out, or just mirror it even. But yeah, so I'll go here, body 1, and I'll go right click, move copy. I'll go create copy, and then I want to firstly just spin it around like that. I might change my pivot point to like here, since that's the origin. Good. Now I can spin that around like that. That's great. That's kind of the positioning I want to start it in. Then I can move it this way. And what I'm going to have is another section coming out like this. So 7.5 seems to be the go. Okay. And essentially what I want to do is a couple of things. So I'll make all of this invisible, make that invisible. So I want to use this to come out this way, and then I'll use these to trim it off. So go here, extrude that out, and I'll go distance to object, this and this. Gives me a little bit of an angle. And how could I trim that out? One selected, can I select 2? No, it doesn't want me to, that's okay. Look, I might as well just grab this, extrude it out this way, like that. And then do another sketch onto here, so go add sketch, and then I'll just project this geometry. So P here, and here, and here, and here, and here. So now I've got this section. Okay, and then looks a little bit funny, but that's okay. And then I'll just take this out. So I'll go finish sketch, extrude this out this way until it's all gone. Okay, so these, like, this may be like a little bit of a curved sketch, probably a product of that spline tool, so that should be a flat section. No big deal. Okay, so now I want to do what I just did and mirror that. Go grab this one. I can even drag it back in time to here. Grab this, go create, mirror. No, it's a feature. That mirror plane here, identical. Okay. And yeah, then when I go and do this trim. Oh, cool, it's already done it for me. Fantastic. So now what I want to do is use this same sketch. Maybe if I go back here. So what I've got to do here is project another sketch off here onto this one, so I can use that to like delete the stuff that I don't want. So I'll go there, okay, and then I can just leave that sketch there, like so. And then what I'm going to do here is with sketch, what is it, sketch 4? This sketch, is it? I'll go extrude, like that. Cool, so now when I have my other body, it should lock in like that. So I've got here and here. All locking in. And I should have my bangle coming in on one side. Definitely not aligned, but I can move that. I might even do it now, and then I've got my bangle coming in on this side too. So with this bit of the mesh, I'll go select that body, move it, and I want to get it pretty much in line with this line here. So 6.254. Doesn't really matter, just for modeling purposes. We'll see how that goes. All right, nearly done with this, and we can pretty up things like, we can put rounds and chamfers and all that stuff on it, but I'll print this pretty much the way it is fairly soon. You'd probably want to print this either on like from the top or the bottom, or you could even raise up the whole thing. Because of these curved surfaces, it could be a little bit difficult to print. You can also, after these bits are done, you can reorient them and put them in an orientation that will actually work for your printing. So I'll have a go at that too. But last thing we need to do here is do a cut. And then we've got to do some push-pulling to give everything a little bit of slack. But here we go. So the thing that we want to cut is this. The thing that we want to use to cut is that. And we want to keep the tools. We go, okay. So that's a really, really easy way of just modeling one thing and then fitting the other side to it. So at the end, what we should see is the holes cut in here. So on all of these internal surfaces, we now need to go in and give it a little bit of space, right? If I go and print this the way it is now, I'll show you if I do a little section analysis, inspect, section analysis on cut plane, I'll go here, and I'll move that to the side a little bit. So you see there, like that's the little peg inside, and there's no space between it, right? So we don't really want that. If we print it like that, it'll just print as one solid piece and it won't actually be a hinge. So there's no point in doing any of this really. So what we need to do is we'll turn off our analysis and we just want to focus on this negative part here. And we're going to select all of these internal surfaces. So you've got to get your look in. Use the analysis tool if you need to cut away bits or whatever. This section, don't forget the chamfers. And you want to do a push-pull and take away space. So I would recommend anything above 0.25. With the larger ones, I'll put in like 0.5 millimeter of space, but 0.35, so that's got to be a negative. That should work. I might do a separate push-pull here for these bits. Go okay here, and then I'll grab this one and this one. This can just be like a negative 0.2, just something a bit lighter. Okay, so now when we go back, we'll turn on this body, and then we'll have a look back at our analysis. You see there's space built into that. And the idea is that you leave enough space to kind of, this might droop a little bit, but then you leave enough space for this surface here to support this surface here when it's printing. And yeah, that's pretty much, check how much space we've got there. That's pretty much how we do a print in place hinge. So I would go and get rid of all of this and just focus on that. And when you get rid of this as an STL, you just get rid of the whole thing. So you'll go right click, save as mesh. You don't want to go one body per file, just one file, and you go OK. Call it PIP, print in place. Print in place hinge for a bangle, you go save. And then when it comes to bamboo, I mean, you could also print this on one of these faces. It'll probably just do a bridge there. Yeah, but I'll get this going, do a little test print, and we'll see how it goes. So I'll pause it and I'll come back and do the next part. Okay, so next thing we want to do is just get the printing organized for this particular piece. So I'll just do it in a regular white PLA, and I'll pull it in from my downloads. See if this is the right one. No, definitely not the right one. So got it downloaded properly. Print in place bangle hinge. It'll come in like this. And I'll try printing it on one of these flat faces first time up. So I'll go lay on face and print it like that. And we'll see how that prints. I might print it the other way around because that's a flat part. So lay on face, that one. It might print a bit better. Cool, we'll see how that goes, and yeah, I'll report back in a bit. Okay, so this has been printed, just in that little pause there, and yeah, just printed on on one of these sides. I think I printed on this side. Oh no, sorry, this side facing up, because this little round here is probably a bit easier to print, and it worked. So all we have to do is fit these in, glue them, and see how that goes. Now what I need to do is turn my attention to a clasp here, so something that kind of goes together and fits in. There's a number of different things that I could do, a number of different designs that I could choose, that kind of thing. And again, I'm going to use that same technique of copying out the body because I know that this is going to be the same as this body here. If I go back in time to where I've made that body, I should be able to slot in a little copy out, a little mirror of that component, so work off something like this. So I'll wait and see till I've got it the way I want it. That should be good. I've got one body here, and so at this point, gone back in my timeline, and what I'll do is create a mirror of that body. Select that, and the mirror plane will be here. Go OK, and that's pretty much it. And then I'll do the same on the other side as well. So I'll go body here, create mirror there, and put that over the mid plane like so. Cool. And then when I go back to the end, cool, I've got all those bits. So that hinge is done. I could even put these into a component configuration or something like that. So what do I do here? That is an excellent question. So first thing I'll do is move this body out, get that into position. I believe it was something like here. So was it 5-6 mils? Oh no, it was something like 6.4, wasn't it? Something like that. Looks pretty good, that's fine. Cool, and see where it just clashes a little bit. I reckon that'll be fine when it fits. Okay, so now I've got that positioned. I've got to work on this body and this body to make something that's actually gonna fit. So, there's any number of things that I could design to fit in. But what I think I'll do is make a little extrusion that comes out and have a little gap. So I'll have a little part here and a little part here, and have this part that fits into it essentially. So, okay, I'll go do that. I'll turn off everything that I don't want. Turn this one off as well and use that as a reference. So I'll go to here, and I want to add a new sketch to this part. And so I'll do the same thing I did before. This probably won't have as much to it as it had before. So here, okay, so I'll come out this way. I might just use this as a reference. I'll come out most of the way. Use the bottom to come out here as well, so going parallel, same point. And then from here, I'll make something flat, comes in, a little bit of a round part here, and then comes back out with a little flat part there. So I'll go down 3 mils, 2.5. And same here, put that down there, oops. Just going to dimension this and make it the same as that, so they both change. And I'll put a circle in here, and I want it to be equal distant between this and this. So I'm not going off the grid lines just yet, but I'll use it for now. I'll make that a 3 mil circle. Distance here to here. Distance, oops, distance here to here. Driven. So I don't want that to actually constrain it because I've already got this constrained by that reference, but I want to use this to be that divided by 2. So it's exactly in the middle between these two parts, if you get me. Then I also want to constrain this to this. So everything I want to be, have it kind of well planned out. Yeah, that could work. All right, and then I've got a little line from here to here, 15 degrees, oops, not 15 mils, 15 degrees might be good. So go here, 15, and put it on the edge of that circle. Here, what have I got? 165 minus 15, which will be 150. Sorry, not 150 length. Oh no, 15 degrees. Cool. And then on the edge there. Cool. So now I just trim that out, and that'll be the bit that my thing fits into. So hopefully this will flex enough. And there might be a little bit too much volume there, so in which case I could just go here and make that 2. I do want this to kind of flex out a little bit. What's going on here? I want this to be collinear, that and that, collinear, good. Okay, and I'll make this, 4 mil? .5 perhaps, and I'll change this to 3 mils, 2.5. Cool. That's looking pretty good, and pretty much all I'm going to do is what I did before, extrude it both sides all the way out, and then trim it using this shell here. So let's go ahead and do that. Finish sketch, extrude, symmetric, distance, grab this so it just goes past the edges, doesn't really matter, we don't have to do an exact measurement, and then I will do a new sketch on here, add sketch. Okay, and from here we're going to go project and project all of that shape on, Now it's going to be super easy just to extrude all of that off. Go extrude, and we can just go distance to object here, and that'll just shave everything off nicely for us. All right, looking good. And that's pretty much it for that piece. Now what we need to do is make another piece that kind of comes out. So we're going to actually extrude this out until we hit this, and we're going to make it turn that off. If I go join I'll show you. If I go join here, it joins everything together. So I don't want to do that. So when I go edit feature, I want to join it to here, but not to here. So I'll just make that invisible. Yeah, make that invisible and then go OK. And that should, because I wouldn't need these butting up against each other. Good, and then I'm going to add another sketch, and pretty much I'm going to fill in that and leave a bit of a gap, and that will be our clasp for this particular iteration. May not work, but it's just something we can start with and refine from there. We'd print this as two separate bodies. Happy days. So let's go in and do that. So here, add a new sketch. Actually, I don't need to add a new sketch, do I? I can just go here, I'll delete that, and I'll use this sketch that I had here before, that one. Okay, good. So I'll go turn off that body. Go to this sketch. I'll go edit, and I'll put a line from here to here. So there's two different sections. Oops. So I can recycle that sketch. Finish. Here, so I want to be able to select two different sections. Where is it? That one. Cool. All right, so yeah, got two different sections, so I can use that internal part there. That's great. So now I'm up to here. Now I want to extrude this using the same method. So I'm going to go out, whoop, symmetric, two sides, like that. Looking at this now, I could actually not make this go all the way through to the edge. I'm just thinking about the other part of the design. So if I go here, I can actually close that up and that'll look a lot smoother if I didn't make that hole go all the way through. So how would I do that? So I go back to this extrude, I think it's this one, edit. Right, and I would actually extrude everything as a block and then do that. And then that's fine, I can do that like that as a distance, that's all good. So once that's all shaved down and smooth and registered, I'll make sure this one's all good. Yeah, to object here. I think I've fixed all that. Now what I'm going to do here is, got this part here, oops, made that visible. So I've got this part here, cool, and now I'm just going to run a cut. Cool, so juggle around a little bit, but we got there. So I'll run a cut, or I could just get this sketch and do it that way as well. Either way, pretty much the same result. I'll go combine cut, so target body will be this, tool body will be this, keep tools okay. Go in here and give a little bit of space to the negative areas. So go here, here, holding down control as you can see while I do this. Then I'll go press pull, negative 0.15 maybe, something like that. I don't know. See how that works. Then what else? Maybe some chamfers around here, so, and on the other side as well, so it just kind of fits in a little bit better. One's way too big, 0.5 chamfer should be good. Cool, so that'll fit in there. And then here, that was meant to flex, right? Well, let's just try this, and if it doesn't work, whatever. I can cut it all the way through. See if it works. You don't want it kind of coming undone and falling off, right? That would be a bit of a fail of a design. See how it looks in the analysis. With that sketch, turn that body on. Cool, so it looks like it's fitting pretty nicely. Yeah, we'll have to see with that. We'll have to test how well this holds, but that's just one idea that we could do. The other alternative is to go back to where we were before and have it cut clean through. The original reason I did that was so these can flex up and let this piece in. But this is something you just have to kind of test and reiterate on. But look, that is pretty much it. Yeah, I've got the mesh bodies here. We've got these bits here. This will open up. I could go further into it and try and animate joints and things like that. But yeah, that's something we can do in another dem. So yeah, this is how you can model something onto an STL file. So you don't have to just model everything yourself. You can use like core mesh files and things like that to do your designs as well. So we'll see how this goes, and yeah, print it out, and hopefully this will work. So thanks for watching, everyone, and all good. I'll see you next time.